Introduced back in SOLIDWORKS 2020, Detailing Mode provides a way to open massive drawings in seconds, but is not limited to just viewing the drawing. Viewing performance is super fast thanks to the performance improvements added in SOLIDWORKS 2021. Detailing Mode allows us to perform typical detailing tasks such as editing and adding dimensions and annotations. The model does not get loaded, so sharing drawing files is easy. But rest assured, the drawing views are intact and there is no loss of detail. Detailing Mode now supports editing of existing annotations such as notes and dimensions. Existing notes can be edited to add or remove information, and we have full access to all of the annotation editing tools. The front view of this drawing is displayed as a broken view with foreshortened dimensions to allow more concise display of the information, while the top view is not broken. Detailing Mode does support broken views, crop views, and even detail views. Similar to the front view, let's break the top view in 3 places. All of the break line styles are available, as well as the gap between the breaks. Ordinate dimensions are supported, and we can now add additional items to existing ordinate dimensions, such as these edges. Detail views can now be created in the same manner as we would when the drawing is fully resolved. Just draw the detail circle or choose a sketch profile and place the view. When detailing drawings, it's common to define whole information, and starting in SOLIDWORKS 2021, Detailing Mode supports whole callouts. And foreshortened dimensions can be applied when necessary. Existing dimensions have full editing capabilities. For instance, the tolerance of the dimension between the holes is important for the function of the part. All of the dimension properties are now available, including its tolerance and precision. The location of the first hole is not properly defined to the center of the hole. All of the controls on every tab of the Dimension Property Manager are available, so we can define the arc condition of the dimension to the center of the hole. So, as we see here, these enhancements extend the capability of Detailing Mode to fully detail our drawings in record time without having to load full drawings containing large assemblies, lots of sheets, many configurations, or resource-intensive views. But the enhancements of the drawing environment do not stop here. Regardless of how we open the drawing, the Dimension tool has been enhanced to make it easier to create dimensions. Notice that now the dimension text is transparent after the first selection, making it much easier to see the second selection. VDA balloons are frequently used in the German automotive industry and a requirement for many European customers. A new leader type is now available for balloons and notes to allow users to tag inspection points per VDA requirements. Position and rotation are easily manipulated, and these VDA balloons can be used directly by SOLIDWORKS Inspection. Finally, when working with sketch geometry on a drawing, it is common to add relations just as we would in the sketch environment. Previously, these relations were in the Property Manager, but now the Sketch Relations pop-up toolbar is available, allowing us to apply sketch relations with minimal mouse travel. Improvements in the drawing environment are always among the most popular enhancements of the SOLIDWORKS user base, and with newer SOLIDWORKS versions, this tradition continues. We engineers demand the best performing tools so we can work as efficiently and effectively as possible. Every year, SOLIDWORKS delivers multiple new enhancements to access our data faster and work more efficiently. Open times for both resolved and lightweight assemblies have been improved. This 2,259 part component assembly opens in only 21 seconds, making getting into our design faster than ever. The larger the assembly, the greater gains we will see while opening them in lightweight mode. To improve working with lightweight components, there is also a more streamlined approach to accessing the assembly and feature information. Simply expanding a component from the Feature Manager tree will now dynamically load those components on demand, giving us full access to resolved subassemblies and parts. This prevents unnecessary loading of large assemblies, but allows us to quickly access and resolve the components we're working on as needed. Working with configurations was also improved in SOLIDWORKS 2021 and is now faster. Switching between and creating new configurations is now significantly faster for assemblies. The performance evaluation tool within SOLIDWORKS has always been an invaluable resource to give insight into areas of a design that may cause performance degradation. New to SOLIDWORKS 2021 and improved thereafter is the analysis and reporting of circular references within an assembly. In this case, two holes on two separate parts have been found to reference one another. We can use this information to further investigate the design and determine how they are referencing one another to fix these issues. In this scenario, one of the components listed in the report contains a hole wizard feature where its location sketch has center points that are referencing the edge of a hole in the adjacent part to locate them concentrically. This is a common top-down design practice to ensure that the holes always remain aligned to one another. However, investigating the second component's feature, also a hole wizard, it appears that the center points within this sketch are likewise referencing the edges of the previously interrogated holes. This creates a circumstance when both features are trying to define the location of each other, also known as a circular reference. To fix the scenario, best course of action would be to remove the external references and redefine the location of the hole centers in one of the sketches. In this case, dimensionally to the part they reside within. Once the changes have been made, a quick rebuild removes any warning from the assembly. Finally, we can use Silhouette feature, introduced in SOLIDWORKS 2019, on an assembly to create a simplified representation of it or to protect proprietary information. Silhouette feature provides an intuitive step-by-step workflow to define the simplified version using a variety of geometry simplification tools. While we are selecting the components, bodies, or subassemblies we want to simplify, we will always have a side-by-side view to show what the finished representation will look like. This ensures that we can capture the correct amount of detail. The methods we can use to simplify our geometry range from something as simple as a bounding box or cylindrical representation of the components, or something a little more complex like the polygon or tight fit method, which add a little bit more detail to the final results. Perhaps some of the components in our subassembly are critical to show in a top-level design, even within a simplified representation. For those instances, we can choose the copy geometry method to capture all of the detail of these components, bodies, or subassemblies. What's new for Silhouette feature in SOLIDWORKS 2021 is the ability to save the simplified representation as a configuration within the same assembly from which it was created. This eliminates the need to manage a separate file that contains the simplified model. We may still want to use these other methods when using Silhouette feature to remove proprietary information from a design to share outside of our organization as a separate disconnected file. However, when using the featured models within higher level assemblies, is now as simple as right-clicking on the component and choosing to use the defeatured version. Defeatured assemblies as configurations provide a way to both simplify complex assemblies visually and also add a performance boost in cases where all of the detail of the individual components isn't necessary. With these new performance-oriented features in SOLIDWORKS, we will be able to work faster and more efficiently with larger and more complex designs. Designers demand the ability to create manufacturable products using an ever-increasing variety of file formats. As of SOLIDWORKS 2022, this is easier than ever with new enhancements for mesh, BREP formats, and tools that help us view and edit critical product information. This ball valve, equipped with a lockout tagout feature, is perfect for this control panel, but the handle is too plain to be incorporated in a luxury product like the Nemo. The supplier provided their files in mesh BREP format. In SOLIDWORKS 2022, working with these files is just like working with native geometry, thanks to the new hybrid modeling capabilities. Creating features like chamfers, extrudes, reference planes, and more no longer requires intermediate bodies and Boolean operations. The handle needs a slot for a lock. Now, Wizard slot length can be defined by arc tangents or centers. Also, when positioning the slot, the tab key toggles between the vertical and horizontal orientations. Manufacturing this handle will require draft. Bidirectional parting line draft would be the most appealing. Starting with SOLIDWORKS 2022, we can now create draft in both directions when using a parting line rather than having to create two separate draft features. The intelligent pattern-driven component patterns get even smarter in recent SOLIDWORKS releases. Now, when we choose a component to pattern, SOLIDWORKS will always choose the component's location as the seed for determining how to create the position and other instances. Even if we change the location of the component to a different location, the pattern still assumes that the component we are patterning is in the seed position. This means it's much easier to take advantage of existing patterns and whole wizard features to quickly position multiple instances of components, such as hardware, and rapidly populate our assemblies. As of SOLIDWORKS 2022, command search is integrated into the S key shortcut menu. We can even have SOLIDWORKS show us its location for future reference. Administrative images create tailor-made installation packages from the source SOLIDWORKS installation files. There are exciting new enhancements to this process that make deployment more powerful, flexible, and organized. Starting with SOLIDWORKS 2022, we have two new options for deploying administrative images: remote client and compressed. The remote client administrative image type was created specifically for remote users. It automatically downloads the bulk of the installation files from SOLIDWORKS' servers instead over the company's VPN network. The compressed administrative image contains all of the same components of the standard image, but in a reduced size, which allows for easier sharing. Staying organized is key to a successful deployment scheme. Now, we are able to create multiple nested groups that reflect the company's preferred hierarchy. Drag and drop makes rearranging items easy and convenient. Each subgroup inherits the settings of the parent groups. This makes editing the administrative image simple and reduces the user XML file size, making deployment even faster. In this example, most of the users won't need these packages to be installed, so we uncheck them in the global settings. However, our users will need access to the SOLIDWORKS PDM server. And now, as of SOLIDWORKS 2022, we can even create a Vault view after installation. No need to run any extra custom scripts. The electrical engineers will need the SOLIDWORKS electrical client installed. Because of the nested structure of the options editor, this is done by checking a single box for the whole group. The user interface gives a clearer indication of what electrical products will be installed. We can still choose to deploy manually or automatically, and of course, these tabs reflect the nested structure of the Setup tab, making it convenient to deploy to the correct users or groups. So SOLIDWORKS makes creating, editing, and deploying administrative images easy, powerful, with better end-to-end support for software packages, improved organizational tools, and flexible new image types. SOLIDWORKS users expect the best out of our software when it comes to customization, performance, and working with others. The user experience is significantly improved in SOLIDWORKS 2023. Communicating with the team on a project is vital to success, and a great way to do this is through comments. In SOLIDWORKS 2023, comments are enhanced to improve usability. We can now emphasize text using the bold, italic, or underline modifiers. Adding a screenshot to the comment is just a click away. We can add images from our local machine to give our comment even more context. The background color can be changed as well, so others understand the priority at a glance. These labels can, of course, be customized to add even more clarity. If a comment is critical, we can set them to appear when the document is opened. It's no secret that SOLIDWORKS has the most customizable interface of any CAD application. Have we customized too much? Or maybe we want a fresh start? We can now more easily restore the default settings in SOLIDWORKS 2023 and newer. Each tab of the customized window has a Reset to Defaults button that allows us to reset the specific tab's settings, the command manager, or all customizations. And of course, we have to talk about performance. The render system, released in 2019 to improve the frame rates during pan, zoom, and rotate, has been dramatically optimized. The SOLIDWORKS team listened to user feedback and resolved many issues. We'll now have greater reliability with the enhanced graphics performance box check so that we can realize the faster frame rates when viewing large assemblies or parts with complex geometry. A better user experience means improved productivity. Customizing the user interface, communicating effectively, and improving frame rates allows teams to speed through designs. SOLIDWORKS is the most feature-rich CAD solution available, but that doesn't mean significant improvements can't be made. In SOLIDWORKS 2023, we've focused on expanding the capabilities of existing features to make the user more productive. Inscribing information, such as serial number or model name, into the cylindrical surfaces is best done with single-line fonts. Yes, I said single-line fonts. SOLIDWORKS 2023 allows us to scribe these fonts using the wrap feature. Adding the DTV logo to the end of this handle is easy with library feature. Just drag and drop. However, in some situations, a reference may not be valid or otherwise broken. In 2023, we now have the option to keep the feature and solve the issue manually rather than having to cancel the action, edit the library feature, and reapply. This design is a good start, but the smooth surface may not provide enough grip for the rider. Let's create a pattern of ellipse-shaped bosses to give the rider confidence when traveling over even the most extreme terrain. Beginning with SOLIDWORKS 2023, we can now create ellipses with construction geometry, making orientation effortless by selecting a construction line when choosing the appropriate relation. Fully defining the ellipse is now easier too, since we don't have to select multiple points to define the major and minor axes. Creating an offset body is easy in SOLIDWORKS, but how far along the handle should we place it? Since we're creating a pattern of these bodies, it would be best to define the parameter based on a global variable that also defines the spacing of the instances. Now, the move copy bodies command can define translation and rotation of bodies with equations, even on a per configuration basis. A design like this tends to be iterative, so having convenient access to these parameters will save time. Using these equations and variables in several features allows us to make broad changes without having to edit each individual feature. Finally, reducing part complexity and protecting the intellectual property are a great use of the defeature tool, but in some cases we may not want to create a whole part that will need to be managed, stored, or otherwise lifecycle managed with a PDM system. SOLIDWORKS 2023 and newer allows us to create a configuration of the defeatured part which can be useful for creating simplified versions. And since it's a derived configuration, it will adopt changes made to its parent configuration. Also, replacing the complex version of the component in the assembly no longer requires selecting a new part file and reattaching mates. Simply select the configuration from the drop-down menu. Through the years, SOLIDWORKS assemblies have brought intuitive and efficient workflow capabilities that help bring our complex models to life. SOLIDWORKS 2023 expands on new assembly enhancements and continues to accelerate performance. Creating assembly patterns is a common time-saving practice. Patterns, such as this linear pattern, often require some instances to be skipped, with differing variations. The traditional workflow would need multiple pattern features or instances to be suppressed and unsuppressed depending on the desired configuration. As of SOLIDWORKS 2023, this is no longer the case. Any pattern type that supports skip instances now supports configurations, offering a much more direct way to modify our patterns. With cost being a consideration, having a rubberized wheel might be a better option than the current ball bearing selection. Using the replace component is a simple way to swap out existing parts, and now we see additional options have been added. SOLIDWORKS welcomes the ability to replace a single component, multiple components in the current assembly, and the current behavior of the assembly and subassembly levels. We'll also see a new preview window giving direct visual feedback, ensuring accurate component replacement every time. During the replace command, a rebuild error occurs due to a failed concentric mate. Mismatched face IDs can often lead to lost productivity during assembly design. As of SOLIDWORKS 2023, we have a new auto repair feature built right into the context toolbar or located with the right mouse button in the mate group. Auto repair will automatically look for a similar face, edge, vertex, or reference geometry and attempt to reattach any missing items. This is a huge time saver for keeping our mates error-free. With multiple configurations included in this assembly, we'll want to ensure the bill of materials appropriately reflects each instance. In previous versions of SOLIDWORKS, This option could be set in the configuration or bill of materials property, a manual and often overlooked process. SOLIDWORKS 2023 offers a new document property type, allowing configurations to be used as the default BOM part number. Enabling this option will make certain unique configurations are accurately reflected to allow for proper assembly of the manufactured model. An assembly level cut will be needed to assist in accessing some key features. New in SOLIDWORKS 2023, assembly cuts include the same end conditions as seen on the part level, expanding flexibility to our design intent. In this case, adding an up-to surface will automate the exact cut depth regardless of any changes to the conveyor's geometry. Using a box select will gather all intersecting parts to be included in the cut, which includes some toolbar components. This could lead to some issues downstream with the propagate to parts option checked. Now, toolbox components are automatically removed from this list and a notification is shown, giving us an extra level of security to the shared toolbox library. Taking a look at the conveyor assembly, multiple configurations have been created. To speed up the layout process, magnetic mates have been defined. Different magnetic connection points may or may not be needed. SOLIDWORKS adds new functionality to magnetic mates by allowing us to suppress and unsuppress individual connection points. This new feature brings extended functionality to an already powerful way to approach our assembly process. Even with configured magnetic connections, getting the right placement can sometimes be a tedious task. Starting with SOLIDWORKS 2023, magnetic connection points respect the visibility of the part or assembly they are attached to. Using hide, isolate, and display states helps us focus on the area where new connections are taking place. Assembly visualization offers a dynamic way to display and sort information about our assembly. Now, additional support for lightweight mode is introduced, no longer requiring us to resolve components for properties such as mass and total weight. The properties drop-down list have been updated to an alphabetical order or more intuitive way to locate commonly used properties such as graphic triangle. We'll also notice that the rollback bar has also been thickened to make for a much easier mouse selection. As we see, this assembly is starting to grow in complexity, which can impact overall performance. SOLIDWORKS 2023 simplifies working with large assemblies with a new system option. Enabling this improves performance by selectively using lightweight technology when we load components in resolve mode, taking out the manual process of switching between the two. With this new option available, we can spend more time focusing on the design and less managing the large assembly modes. Large assemblies can also introduce issues when working with external vendors through neutral file types, such as the commonly used step format. SOLIDWORKS 23 now supports exporting assemblies as multiple step files through a new system option. With this enabled, step files for the top level, sub-assemblies, and individual parts are created, introducing a more streamlined approach when collaborating through neutral file types. Whether we're building simple or complex assemblies, SOLIDWORKS now offers an array of new enhancements to ensure our jobs can be done as efficiently as possible. Documenting our designs means making drawings, and the more complex our products become, the more detailing is required. Enhancements to drawings, SOLIDWORKS 2023, help us create drawings with more automation, higher accuracy, and expanded utility so we can get our designs built right the first time. We can now open the associated drawings of parts and sub-assemblies right from within a higher level drawing, whether we select from the feature manager, from a table, or directly from the graphics area. This will help us navigate a product structure without having to locate or open the reference part or assembly models. It's common to make manual overrides to a bill of material table. But how do we know which cell has been modified? Now, when the table is selected, any overridden items display with a user-defined highlight color. possibly preventing a costly error. We can restore original values individually, by row or column, or reset the entire table at once. Auto balloons can now show quantities outside the balloon. This option was previously only supported for manual balloons. This enhancement improves automation and provides greater formatting control when detailing assembly items. New for 2023, the bill of material can be filtered with familiar spreadsheet-style controls. Icons in the table header indicate where filters are applied, and they can be removed just as easily. The integrated search bar narrows down a lengthy column of values, and custom filters can be defined with conditional logic. Say we need a custom bill of material, such as parts list of purchased hardware. Our filter criteria combines across multiple columns. Just like we expect, any existing auto balloons update to match the filtered data with no manual editing required. The resulting table can be saved to common formats so we can create and share on-the-fly tables that extend the utility of our drawings. Visualizing transparent objects in a drawing view got easier with new detailing option to see through the transparent components or bodies. This can be enabled on a view-by-view basis or set as a document level option that will apply to any newly added views. Anything behind a transparent object will be shown with visible edges, so we can create drawings with even more detail and clarity. Complete and accurate documentation is essential to getting our designs built right.